Hello and welcome to Blue Army TV. I'm sitting here after Carlisle have lost 1-0 at home to Morecambe in what is probably our worst performance of the season. Not the first time I've said that, but it seems to ring true every single time as we continue to get worse in these kind of things. Yeah, look, I've been going to matches for a while now. I've been doing this channel for 5 years on its own. Never in my life have I seen people throw their season tickets onto the pitch, and there was a few that did that today. I saw a few. You look at the sidelines today, there was at least a dozen. I've never ever seen that before. I've never ever felt the atmosphere drop like that before. I've never seen such hopelessness from the fans. I've never seen such a deflated performance like that. I've never heard such a loud boo at half-time. It's very rare. I've never seen it before where Carlisle fans have chanted that their own manager's going to be sacked. It's really, really poor. And look, whether you believe Mike Williamson deserves to be sacked or not, and I believed he deserved to be sacked a while ago, he's kind of put a little bit of a run together, and by a run I mean one win in 10, I think it is. That's his run, because we got a few draws in there as well. He got nominated for Manager of the Month, which was a joke. But I just don't think, whether you think he should be sacked or not, I don't think there is a world where you can come back from that reception from a home game when people are throwing their season tickets onto the pitch. And by the way, I respect the sentiment of the protest, but I did find it funny that you're doing something illegal by throwing something onto the pitch, and one of you decided to throw onto the pitch pretty much an ID card, so they know exactly who has thrown stuff onto the pitch, which I respected, but at the same time maybe not the smartest decision. But yeah, look, I never thought we were going to score today. I came into the game thinking positively, but after that 10 minutes we had a very good opening 10 minutes, and we probably should have scored. Aaron Hayden missed a sitter from about a yard out, which I don't sit in the Warwick, I sit in the Pioneer stand, but from what I've heard, that's one of the worst misses that people have ever seen. Not that they could see in that stand, because they've got glaring blue lights in their face, and disco lights as well, which is just don't even. But look, and just, alright, what I'm going to say, an open message to the Piatek family, because they were all there today, and they'll know, they'll know that things aren't going wrong. So an open message to Tom, the other Tom, Jenna, Nick, and the others. You bought a football club in League One. We're now looking like we're going to get sent down to the National League. It's the first time today that I've genuinely thought that that's what's going to happen. Not that's what's possibly going to happen. I now believe that that's what's going to happen unless something drastically changes. So let me ask you this. A club taken from League One to the National League, and I do believe that you're certainly putting the money forward and certainly putting the effort forward, but what are you going to do? Because clearly this isn't working. Clearly something's wrong. Clearly something has to change. We've got one of the highest wage budgets in the league, or one of the highest wage bills, I should say, in the league, and we're sitting bottom. I came into this game today hoping for a win. I thought we would win. But we shouldn't be in a relegation battle. I'm sick of people accepting that. We have some of the highest paid players in the league, and they're getting constantly outperformed by players and teams who have a lower budget, are paid less money, and on paper have a much worse team. We accept it because we are where we are in the league, and we see teams, every team's above us, every team's a difficult game. We've got a quality player, and they're getting paid as a quality of player that should be in a promotion battle. I shouldn't be coming into games expecting to get beat. I shouldn't be coming into games against Morecambe, bottom of the league. Their team was put together in a day on transfer deadline day when they finally got the clearance to sign players. Every single one of them, their players have signed this year, were signed in one single day. Their club is in absolute financial ruin. They're at risk of getting points deducted. And they've had a suspended points deduction. Why on earth am I going into that game and seeing a team deserve to get beat. Why am I going into a game against Morecambe and teams like that and seeing performances where I think, yeah, they probably should have beat us by more, to be honest. We can't score. I think, Gabriel Breeze, and look, Breeze is a very happy accident. There was absolutely no way that Breeze was the intended goalkeeper coming into this season. He wasn't a clever signing. He's a very, very lucky... I'm not saying Breeze himself's very lucky because he's worked hard and earned this opportunity, but we're lucky that a player like that has come through our academy at the time we needed him, because he's probably been our best player this season, and he's been an academy graduate. The signings haven't been very good. They've been dreadful. The team just looks... I don't even think it's a matter of effort or a matter of skill. I think it is they're weak mentally. And I don't want to hear confidence, because they're professional footballers and they've got themselves into this situation. They're mentally weak. When things go wrong, there's no sign that they're going to fight back. There's absolutely no effort when things don't go their way. And I don't even mean after the goal. I mean after that first 15 minutes where we played well and we probably should have scored and we've missed a couple of chances. They see that and throw their toys out of the pram. And, they lose their heads mentally. And look... think of Aaron Hayden. He's the biggest example for me. He's okay when he's at a club like Wrexham who are winning every week. What was that performance for him today? It was awful. Ben Barkley as well, really awful. Our only good centre-back, Sam Lavelle, for some reason hooked off after 60 minutes. Now the manager says that's because of an injury, but I suppose that's fair enough, but that also now makes yet another injury to our however long list of injuries. Things need to change drastically. Something needs to be done, because at the minute we're sleepwalking into non-league, and I've heard that said a lot. But just some of the tactical changes, I just don't understand some of them. Georgie Kelly out injured again. Get rid. I'm so sick of hearing that sentence. Georgie Kelly injured again. Just get rid. He's never going to be fit enough to be in this team. He can't keep himself fit. It was this week that he was kind of meant to be built up to start in a game. If he's going to come back, get a few games out of him, then injured again, just get rid, because we can't afford to be having them kind of players at the club. The same goes for Terrell Thomas. I love Terrell Thomas. I think he's a fantastic player, but he's been constantly injured since we brought him. And however good a player he is, he's absolutely no use to us in the treatment room. Hayden's been injured a lot this season. Sam Lavelle now injured. It's just, we're going into next week wanting to play a back three, and the only possible back line I can think of is a back three of Barkley, Hayden, and Jack Ellis. That's not the back line we should be starting with. It's poor recruitment from the top, which that's changed, and fair enough, because I do actually quite like the new Sporting director. People said he was boring in his interview, but his job isn't to be interviewed. I don't care what he says in interviews. If he pulls off some brilliant signings, I haven't a clue if he was a bit dull in the interview that fans demanded. But my God, this manager, I don't want to make it too personal, but under Paul Simpson, I really hated wanting him to be sacked. I really, really liked Simo because I loved listening to him talk. I loved him as a person. I loved his character. I loved that he was local. I loved that he, played for the club and has a history of winning at the club. He's earned the respect of being a fantastic manager, and his legacy will always be that at Carlisle. And I really hated him getting sacked because, I even when we were getting beat heavily and we were playing badly, he would come out and tell us that. He would come out and be perfectly honest with us. He would tell us the issues. He would tell us how disappointed he is because, even when things got bad, and I did want him to be sacked at the very end, I never wanted him to fail. And I don't want Mike Williamson to fail, but I was so upset when Simo failed because I really, really wanted it to work. Because even in the end, he spoke well. When Mike Williamson's come in, the only thing that's changed is that interview. The only thing that's changed is the one positive we used to have with Simo is now a negative because he's the most dull person in interviews. And look, I understand that if things are going well that you don't really care about a manager's interviews, but I'm so sick of hearing about XG, so sick of hearing about box entries, so sick of hearing about possession and passes back to the goalkeeper and keeping possession, and because it's clearly not working. The only stat that I care about is the final scoreline, and for far too long that stat's not been in our favour. You know, I mean, just he's so uninspiring and so boring. And if the issue with our players is the mentality, for a start, then that means we need to bring in a whole new host of players. But at the same time, if it is a mentality issue, if it is our players being weak mentally, is the manager that's gonna get the best out of them the kind of manager that goes in an interview after that and talks like that? I just can't get my head around some of his decisions and some of the things he says in interviews. Like, we've been beaten by a team who are in financial ruin, their club's a mess, they're paid a hell of a lot worse than us, and they've gone out there and they've deservingly beat us. I don't care about XG, and to be fair, they had a higher XG than that as well. I want to know why our expensive, high-paid players are putting in performances like that every single week, because I can't explain it. If it's bad recruitment, it's bad recruitment, but he doesn't help himself, Mike Williamson, and I've said he should be sacked, and I kind of went back on that a little bit when we went on that kind of okay run, but we're bottom of the league again. Nothing's changed with him here. The only thing that's changed, you know, the results are the same as when Simpson was in charge. The only thing that's changed is that we've lost that fan in the dressing room that can go in there and slate his players and you know, give them the kick up the backside that they sometimes deserve, because I can't see this manager doing that, and he just seems like such the wrong fit. Something needs to change, and the Piatex were there today. They saw what happened at Brunton Park today. Every single one of them was there. They saw the season tickets thrown onto the pitch. They saw the performance. They saw the reaction from the fans. They saw the reaction from Williamson. Look at the sideline. He's just sitting there with his hands in his pockets. He's so uninspiring, so, you know, he's not motivating. And you could see Danny Granger, you know, Carlisle legend, and at times linked with this job. Not that I think he should get this job, by the way, but on their sidelines, jumping around, shouting at his players. We need a bit of that. We need a bit of that because we're just not getting it at the minute, and things aren't working out. I'm so sick of seeing certain things. And another thing I want to mention, it's just some of the individual decision making I don't get. I've talked about how good Gabriel Breeze is and how, you know, a fortunate of a phenomenon that he has been. Them goal kicks he's getting him to do, because I can't imagine that's a Breeze decision. It's a manager, it's a coaching decision to have the centre back kick it to him, who then takes a touch forward and hoofs long or tries to find a pass. It just and the corners, we were dangerous from corners. With the first 3 corners in the game, we put in a good ball into the box from Jordan Jones, who I think had a very good first half today, to give credit where credit's due. Completely failed in the second half, but who didn't? But anyways, we put in 2 very good corners, or 2 or 3 very good corners from him, and that's been our main threat so far. So what do we do as a team? We completely change it. We take it from an in-swinger from a Jordan Jones corner to a kind of outswinger from Cameron Harper. Why have you changed that? You've made our corners immediately worse. You've nullified our only threat, and we've done it ourselves. I can't believe some of the decisions I'm seeing, and the substitutions. I just don't understand them. Nothing he does seems to make sense. The players just seem lost, and everything seems to be a mess at the minute. Because I tell you what, we're going to have a hell of a job on our hands if we go down to the National League, because nothing's for certain. It's a strong division. It's a really strong division. Look at what's happened to Scunthorpe. Look at what's happened to Oldham. There's other examples, you know, Yeovil, who were, you know, pushing the championship and are now down there. It's an incredibly slippery slope, and I respect so much what's happened behind the scenes. You know, we're a debt-free club now. I think the training ground stuff that's gonna happen soon is all very exciting, and you know, I don't agree with the decision about the lights in the White Road end, but other than that, you know, what's been done with the fan zone and everything seems so positive. But on the pitch, everything's going wrong, and something needs to change very, very quickly. Yeah, and to be honest, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know who you bring in. Peter Murphy was at the ground today. Do you bring him in? I can't imagine he's the kind of man who'll come in and be a head coach. He strikes me as more of a manager. Maybe the new sporting director has somebody in mind. Maybe he's come from City. I heard the Man City under 21s manager. I can't remember, getting linked with a job in League Two. Maybe that could be a thing of what we're going to do, but it's a difficult time to make this kind of decision because, I'm led to understand that we've already signed a player for this manager in this January transfer window. One ready to confirm as soon as the window opens. So what do you do? Do you fire the manager? I do believe there's something in the fact that the director of football is making these decisions and the coach is being brought in based on the players we've got, not the other way around, if you know what I mean. Like it's less a matter of the manager comes in and brings in his own players. It's more of a committee, more of a team decision at the top with potentially Abbott, Clarkson and whoever the manager is and the owners. So it's less of a managerial role, more of a head coach role, which I think is going to happen. So, but I'd still like a manager to be in a couple of weeks ago so he has a say in who we sign. Yeah, it's a mess. It's a complete mess. We're in a very difficult position, and if we don't beat Accrington Stanley next week, we could be 7 points behind, 7 points from safety, because Morecambe deserved to win today. And I think, I've done a message to the owners, now a message to the players. You're better than that. You're better than that. So get your act together, because that's embarrassing. And you're wearing the shirt of a very, very old football club. Very little clubs in this division will get the following that you've got. So please stop letting us down every single week, because that today was embarrassing from every single one of yous. Mellish getting sent off, but at the very least he showed a bit of fight. Just Callum Guy, what's happened to him? Illness, I suppose. What's happened to Callum Guy? He's probably our best midfielder, and with McGeoch and Vila both being injured for a long time now, where's our best midfielder, Callum Guy? Has he got a move sorted for January? I just don't know. Everything's a mess. It's chaos. Let me know what you think, because I'm running out of things to say. Certainly running out of things that I'm allowed to say. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and in a bit.